I'm so pleased to have Shahin Amini, the Head of Investor Relations and Communications at Meren Energy. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here.
In 2025, you had a name change from Africa Oil to Meren Energy, which reflects a shift in strategy and identity. Can you elaborate on why removing Africa and oil, what that means, and what it means operationally for you, and how will this rebranding affect your investment priorities, your risk profile, and stakeholder approach?
Our rebranding came about a transformational and strategic transaction through which we have doubled our reserves and production in our deepwater Nigerian assets. And we took the opportunity, given it was a major milestone in the company's history, to rebrand just to reflect the maturity and the growth of our company from our early days as a junior explorer to a full cycle independent oil and gas company. To be honest with you, it doesn't really impact our operations day to day. We are very much focused on delivering value from our assets in Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Namibia, and South Africa. Strategically, we have great assets, and we will be looking to, and this is an organic opportunity set in West Africa, and we will continue to work on it to deliver value for our shareholders and for our local partners.
On your prime consolidation of Nigerian assets, what remaining challenges, whether it's technical, regulatory, or logistical, are you seeing in Nigeria? And how are you planning to optimize production and decline management across those assets?
I think in the first instance, it's important to actually take a step back and look at the positives. We are very encouraged by the recent reforms in Nigeria, and we are very grateful to Nigerian government and regulators for bringing along changes that really are constructive and facilitate ongoing investment. Now, looking at our assets, we are in deepwater environments in offshore Nigeria, and these are complex projects, but we do have very good partners, Chevron and Total Energies, and we are very fortunate to be partners with such super majors. In terms of the challenges that we're facing, really, I think there's one area where we have been looking at, and that is the service sector in Nigeria. We believe that there can be more competition that would allow further investment through lowering operating expenditures. And we're also cognizant that the Nigerian authorities are taking steps to facilitate that. So we do have the right direction of travel on that area as well.
And with the Venus project in Namibia expected to reach FID in 2026, and the first oil around 2029, what are the main cost, technical, or regulatory risk factors shaping this timeline?
Well, look, we're really excited about the Venus development. This is expected to be the first producing oil field offshore Namibia. So we are delighted for Namibia. And look, it is a deep water project. It is complex. And as I mentioned, it is expected to be the first producing field in a country with no history of oil and gas production. In the first instance, it's important to align all stakeholders' interests because these are long life assets. So Venus is expected to be producing over decades. We're not talking about a few years, we're talking about decades. So I think it is important to align all stakeholders' interests. Again, we are very fortunate to be partnered with Total Energies, a company very well resourced and highly experienced on bringing to production complex projects in frontier areas. And of course, we have to invest in Namibian services. I believe local content is very important, but again, we have to get the right balance so that the project moves forward as a successful investment whilst we also maximize local content. So it is about getting the right balance.
And Meren has flagged several exploration prospects, including Namibia, South Africa's Orange Basin, Equatorial Guinea blocks, e.g. 18 and 31. How do you evaluate which ones to drill first? And what partner farm out strategy are you using to share the risk?
Well, look, Meren, we are very spoiled because we do have a very rich opportunity set. At the end of the day, look, we have to do things right. So sometimes it's better to take our time in order to get optimal risk profile for our exploration and appraisal assets. We have to make sure we have the right partners because we are typically the first in some of these regions and we bring in partners. That is an important part of our business model. Orange Basin, offshore Namibia and South Africa, is obviously captured the industry's imagination. It is very exciting. It's an emerging province. And we are encouraged by the success in Namibia. So obviously South Africa is very important. And we hope that with further progress on the South African side in terms of the permitting process, that can be a near-term story. Look, at the end of the day, as I said, we don't have a specific order of drilling these. It's about taking our time, doing a good job, and making sure that we are maximizing value for our shareholders and again for our local partners.
And at AEW, the dialogue often centers around energy security versus transition. How are you positioning yourself to balance new hydrocarbon growth with the pressures of transition from investors and regulators?
We are an independent oil and gas company, and our investors are attracted to our diverse portfolio. We are currently focused on West Africa, and what they're attracted to is for the scale of the opportunities. Africa offers world-class rocks and geology. So there are opportunities here that are not only strategic and material for us, but also strategic for the super majors that we are partnered with. So look, this energy transition versus energy security is a very robust and dynamic discussion. I think we have to be mindful that we take a step back and, some talk about ESG as part of that energy transition. ESG isn't just about energy transition and climate. We have to think about the social and the governance aspect of that as well. So we are very mindful that the investments that we make in West Africa can be very important for the countries and the local stakeholders and our local partners. And I think we need to focus on that as well. Of course, as always, we want to do the best job we can in our investments and our projects. So we are a responsible investor and we do our best to address the energy transition as well. And I think as an independent company, we have a very important role to play. There are opportunities for us to get involved with midlife assets and these are assets that may be non-core to a larger oil company, but they are core to us. And perhaps that is an area where we can do more and be more impactful in reducing emissions.
And just my final question. What makes African Energy Week an important platform for Meren Energy? And how does your participation support your growth and transition strategy for the continent?
It's been a great gathering, and we've had the opportunity to tell our story. But more importantly, it has given us the platform and the opportunity to engage with our local partners. And we have had very good constructive dialogue with ministers and our operating partners. So it has been a very time well spent for us. And of course, as always, it's very good to be in Cape Town and to meet, with our partners from across the continent. So it's been very fruitful.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.